Hey guys, I'm back for one more little clip here after having some fun talking to folks here I haven't seen for a while. So I forgot to show the dinosaur garden while the sun was out. They have a new exhibit with beautiful, really expensive scale model dinosaurs. They're not animated, but the detail and the quality is unparalleled. I just spent some time doing a photogrammetry 3D scan of this ankylosaur to my left, which I will do something with later. I'll show you guys on a video or something. But took about 30 pictures of it, stitched it together, and made an awesome little dinosaur I can drop in with AR, or I can 3D print on my printer. So really cool stuff. Anyway, it's kind of dark there right now, but let me just show you this guy real quick. I forgot to look up what species this is, but beautiful. Yeah, dinosaur, it's amazing. So I'm tilting up quite a bit to show you the scale. But really cool. It's kind of dark here, so it's hard to see now because the museum's already closed. But so that's over here, and then down here in this little pit, they have some examples of petrified wood and stuff around the perimeter. But here's this ankylosaur. Look at this guy. Big club of a tail there. Nice plates and spines and bits on there. It has these nice little horn structures on its back. And then this really cool, look at that face, so much detail on the face. Very much like the Jurassic Park dinosaurs, really cool. So this is an ankylosaur. Here's a shot of it in its habitat, supposedly. A little artwork there. And there's the name and some info on it. You want to screenshot that later. Some info for that. So that's little setup they have here. They have this cool little sand pit here of a plesiosaur, which is like what Nessie was supposed to be, basically, Loch Ness monster. Some bones here buried in the sand, so kids can come down here with their brushes and their tools and stuff and expose the bones like a real paleontologist would do. There's a little map of the bones, so if you get totally lost, you can kind of see what you're supposed to see. And it's a small pit here with sand. You can look at these bones that are buried in this sand, which is kind of fun. And you walk around, they got some really cool primitive tree ferns and other stuff in here, which is accurate for the time. Even this Dawn redwood here. This is the original front of the museum before they did all this work. So this, where I'm standing right now, is actually the parking lot. And this Dawn redwood is in the little lawn right in front of the museum. And it's still here to this day, and they use it as part of this exhibit, which is smart because it's a very primitive redwood tree compared to the redwoods in California. It's found in China, and it's morphologically, it's very different than the Sequoia sempervirens and Sequoia dendron giganteum in California. But they are related. It is a type of redwood, but it's much more primitive. So perfect for the dinosaur exhibit. And it's already here for, probably 30, 40 years it's been here. Maybe more than that, actually, probably 50 years. But they put these tree ferns around here, and they have a bunch of exhibits and like fossils and rocks that you can look at. So there's the Dawn redwood courtyard here. So the dinosaur's hiding there behind the trees. Oh, the moon's up there behind the dinosaur. Look at that. Nice little waxing crescent moon. So they have some fossil traces, like footprints in the thing. It's all dark now. You can't see it very well. And there's a, I've never seen one of these before. Thescelosaur. Very small little guys here. Cute. Almost like the Maiasaurs that are in Jurassic Park, but much smaller. Really neat. Got to come back when I can see it better. Apparently one of them broke. Some kid sneaked in here and tried to sit on it and broke the tail. So it's supposed to be a third one in here. But kids are real hard on stuff. So sea life fossils. Some shell fossils here. All kinds of interesting fossils from different creatures. And this is it's a petrified wood. And that shows how much of California was once underwater, prehistoric times. And the different periods, the Cretaceous period. So there's our location, the red dot, yellow dot there. Yeah, it's a really interesting exhibit. Tons of money spent on this thing. We'll talk about the Dawn Redwood. So that's cool. And they put some other plants around here that are fairly appropriate for the time period. There's another one here called a dromaeosaur. Never seen that before. Looks like oh, this is the one that has the feathers. I think it's still in the back being repaired. It also got messed up by some kids. This is one of the later feathered dinosaurs, so it's the link with birds, with modern birds. But it's not here right now. I think it sits right here usually. And they have some cool like horsetails in here and ferns, all these primitive vascular plants, which are good for the time period. Gunnera chilensis, which is this really interesting, super sandpapery, rough water plant that just looks really like gnarly and primitive. Looks like they have a monkey puzzle tree here, or small Norfolk Island pine, one of those kind of really primitive conifers here, and some more little ferny bits and stuff, all perfect for the time period. And a bunch of cool exhibits about where the plants that grow here today versus the ones that were before. There's one of these inside. I can't get back in. They closed the museum up, but there's a pteranodon inside, a little pterosaur winged thing inside. You can actually see hovering above the room there. And it shows a bunch of these little critters you can look at, and some of the plants. The ginkgo biloba is very old. There's the redwoods. And see, there's monkey puzzle tree. Those are really interesting. And, oh, that's a hadrosaur. Okay, that's what that is. I couldn't see the top of it very well, but, so this big dude is a hadrosaur, one of the duck-billed dinosaurs. This one's a little less duck-billed than some of the ones I've seen in drawings and in sculpture. But yeah, it's quite a big animal. These very vocal according to the geometry of their fossils. There you go. So that's a hadrosaur right there. In the middle of screaming, looks like. So yeah, dinosaurs. Who'd have thunk it at a zoo or museum? They had a really good exhibit in California Academy of Sciences when I was in college, called Life Through Time, and they actually had amazing Macromedia Director phylogenetic tree interfaces. You can jump through the trees of life of all kinds of critters, show how they're related, and everything from dinosaurs to different kinds of plants to insects and all kinds of invertebrates. And they had some beautiful sculptures with like not just like, this is a live Dawn Redwood here, and live ferns. They had created from scratch fake plants that don't exist anymore, and had dinosaurs all through them, like not Velociraptor, but the one called Deinonychus, which is really what Velociraptor was supposed to be in the movie. Velociraptor looks very different than the one that they showed in Jurassic Park. It's more like Deinonychus. But it had those claws, and it was about that size and very menacing. Like if you came across a Deinonychus, you're pretty much screwed. But so they had those on display. They had diatrymas, which is these giant bird-like dinosaurs with a huge beak and feathers. And you don't mess with those guys, man. They would really screw you up. They're about 12 feet tall or 10 feet tall, something like that. And a bunch of other small ones, and giant like centipedes and millipedes and all kinds of critters on display, all animatronic. It was an amazing exhibit. It was there for about 2 years, maybe more. And the day they closed it, I was very sad. But it was around the time they had the they had still doing recovery from the Loma Prieta earthquake in '89 that totally damaged the structure permanently. So at one point they had to scrap the whole museum and redo it, except for the African Hall. And the wing where Life Through Time was in was basically redone totally, and a bunch of other stuff was tweaked. So it was one of those exhibits they other than the science changing a little bit, they could have kept that thing forever, because it's an incredible exhibit. It didn't quite have the scale of this because it was indoors, so you couldn't have these huge animals on display. but what it had inside was just beautiful and really well made, and just to see all those plants that don't exist anymore recreated really realistically, and had water features running through it, so you had sound effects, and it just, you really felt like you were there when the crowd left the area for a while. It just got quiet. You're just in there with this little forest setting and these animals. It was pretty special. But yeah, this ankylosaur is pretty cool though. Definitely got some good defenses on the back there. And he's also, it looks like he's yelling at somebody here. So yeah, just a quick little catch up before I head out. My friend is finishing up his work in the back, and I thought I'd get a quick shot. I also, like I said, I got a 3D scan of this ankylosaur, so I'll be doing something with that later. Try to do a 3D print as well as some augmented reality stuff with it, because it really turned out well, shockingly. Because normally this kind of a big, doing a 3D walkthrough photogrammetry, something this big, normally it doesn't turn out that well. So, especially with small parts like this tail. So I was pretty shocked. But anyway, thanks again, everybody. And leave you here with the hadrosaur. I'll close it out. Just imagine him going, whoa. And thanks again for tuning in. As usual, when I do these mobile streams, YouTube locks them. So they're not available right now, but I'm going to go home later and I'm going to unlock all the streams from today. So there should be 3 showing up pretty soon, so you guys can watch them. And I'm going to go back and read all the chat messages I missed earlier because I was mostly doing camera stuff. But thanks again for everyone who participated, and anyone who watches, makes comments, and appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day, evening, morning, wherever you are. Thank you.